XconMedia.
Welcome to XconMedia. We appreciate you tapping in. If you're new to the channel, please give a like, comment, and subscribe. We got my man Quincy from Setbacks to Success, and then we have another special guest, Mr. Leonard McReynolds.
Yo. What's good,
brothers? How y'all doing?
Oh man, doing well, brother, man. Doing well, man. Thank you, man. Another epic episode. I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Look forward to all of them, actually, brother. Look forward to all of them. Yeah.
Like we've been doing it consistently for a couple of months now, so you know, I got to tell you, it'd be rough getting back in this house. Because I had to run down to Valdelia early today, and but I do it because I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? So this is my preference. I rather talk to the people and give out good information when I can, man. So you know, I appreciate you brothers for joining me tonight, man. So yeah,
absolutely. And man, you're doing a fantastic job with your channel, man. 20,000, y'all. 20,000. We need 20. We need to get you up to 20K. Yeah. He's right
close.
There.
We're close. And I believe it's gonna come through very, very soon, man. As long as we keep putting out good content, man, and keep giving the people good information, we're gonna get to where we going.
That's right. How just real quick before we get into our guest, how are your other social media platforms going, man?
Man, everything is moving just a little bit, because I'm concentrating on YouTube more than anything. But you know, I got a pretty decent following on TikTok and a couple other apps, and you know, so just moving it on up. But YouTube is my main concentration right now. When I get YouTube up and running like I need to, then I'm gonna start thinking about everything else.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. I really, again, man, excited about this episode. We have a very special guest, someone who's very dear to me in a lot of different ways. He's a financial services industry professional. He's got over 24 years in the game. He's a self-employed business owner. And not only that, you know, he's going to talk about some very special topics, unique, that a lot of our audience, particularly the ones out who are formerly incarcerated, you know, men and women, you know, that watch and listen to our show. He has a new lane that I think many of you are going to be interested in. You know, it's not trucking. It's not, you know, any of the other things that we're used to people who, you know, getting out, jumping into. This one is where you can wear a suit and tie. You can do something that's totally different. A lot of people that they're not doing traditionally as a formerly incarcerated individual. And he's here to talk about those things. And so I want to bring him up. He's, again, a good friend of mine, my Morehouse brother, Mr. Leonard McReynolds. Mr. McReynolds, man. What's good, my brother? What's happening?
What's up, Quincy? It's so good to see you, man. And be able to chat with both of you guys today, man. And you know, I'm glad to be your guest on here. I'm from Detroit originally. I live in Atlanta now. And so I did the whole deal, wife, kids. We used to have a dog until my adult son moved out and took the dog with him. But you know, life has been really well. Just a brother growing up in Detroit and migrating to Atlanta for college, and which is our connection. You're right. Had I not left Detroit and came to Atlanta to go to Morehouse, you and I never would have connected. And so I feel blessed to be connected to you in that regard. And so when we talked, and I'll talk just a quick little story about me going through college, doing all that, as Quincy, like I've kind of told you before, I just happened. I did all of my dirt and rather things I'm not proud of before I got to college and before I graduated college. I'll just say that. And so it just so happened, I mean, the only difference between me and most of the community that you represent there is I just never got caught, right? I just never got caught up, and so I'm very clear about that. I don't want to pretend like I just did everything right. And, you know, and from the jump, that's just being real. But I got on through college and went to corporate America. And look, I had, you know, what would be a decent start there. But I just realized, man, you know, they not like us, you know, not to quote Kendrick, you know, because I'm officially Team Drake. But I just felt like
going in already. Okay,
I just felt like you know, that's kind of what they were saying to me, right? When I got there, you know, to this corporate environment in New York City, you know, mother and dad real proud of that, but I felt like they were saying they not like us and they didn't want to let us in, you know, and they didn't want to let us in with a sense of equity and fairness. And, you know, like you jump through one hoop, then, you know, they changed the rules. And so I got distraught with corporate America from that standpoint. I was like, these folk ain't about to drive me crazy. I've had a nervous breakdown up in here. They tell me do these two things, you do them. Then all of a sudden say, but you didn't do these two, you know? And so I was like, it was clear to me that they really, really did not want me there. And so I left there and went on a journey to determine how to become a gainfully employed person without having to really do that in the traditional sense, right? I did want to do something professional. You know, I know you said shirt and tie, right, Quincy? You know, like I have a lot of ties. I haven't worn one in a while, but I do own a couple of them. I think I can still fit the shirts that they go with. But I definitely can dress it up a little bit, right? Besides a sweatsuit and sweatpants. But I think that, you know, just to talk to the heart of being here, XconMedia and why I'm here, setbacks for success, you know, because I don't identify naturally, like I can't say I did a bit here or there, but I have a very close friend of mine, almost like a brother of mine I grew up with. And he was incarcerated in Michigan for 34 years, 5 months, and 10 days.
What's his name?
His name is Sherrod McFarland. And he was incarcerated in Michigan. And so I didn't do the time with him inside, but I did the time with him from the outside.
From the outside, yeah. That's a real thing. A lot of people don't know that. That's a real thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't do it so I could be on a podcast talking about it. I mean, that was my man. We grew up together. He had some unfortunate circumstances. We were a lot alike mindset wise. We grew up talking about being successful and doing things. Look, he got caught up in a situation. That situation landed him in prison. And so we just look. I mean, I you know, I didn't had a JPay account. I didn't have every single way that they had for us to communicate. Yeah, I didn't had it all. You know what I'm saying? I got a profile. Yeah, and I know how to put money on there. I know how to do the whole deal. Yeah, I've been up there. I know when you go for a visit, you need to bring some change because you need to crash the vending machine and you need to get a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all can have a visit. I don't know if he was more happy for me to be there talking to him, or because I could come to the vending machine and get a bunch of crap that he could eat that wasn't there, you know. And so
yeah, you know that life. You know that life, bro.
I mean, I really
okay, right.
I really did. So that's also, you know, when he got released a month ago today, which is interesting that we're on this podcast. So 30 days ago today, I was in Michigan. We went to the prison early that morning. I brought him the clothes that he wanted to come out in. I got a box of his stuff, threw it in the trunk, and he walked out. And we did, breakfast and lunch and had a little get together at my sister's house in Detroit. And people were coming in, showing love, the whole shot, and so point just about that is that what I recognized the whole time. If I flew, he ended up getting 2 associate's degree and a master's degree while incarcerated. Okay. And I flew up to one of those graduations. He had limited amount of guests, you know how they do. But I flew up to one of the graduations to see him graduate, you know, and a couple of things, like I had always talked to him. And so, like, I mean, he is weird in his own way, because, like, you know, like we would argue over the kind of books he was reading. So I would always send him books. I mean, we would get pissed off when we sent them from Amazon and they'd send them back anyway. But then he wanted this kind of history and he wanted this. And I'm like, what you reading that for? And he was like, look, I'm not one dimensional. You know, I read all kind of stuff. And so what I saw was that, man, he was more well-read in terms of books than many people that was so-called out here in the regular world going about. But he really used that time. Surprisingly, he really kept a really good sense of his mind, which, you know, being incarcerated that long, a sense of hope. And so I experienced that with him. So for me, many people, in my opinion, have a lot of experience, but I just think because we lose touch with people, right? I think that we don't recognize they're still people. And yeah, they're in a different spot. And maybe they deserve to be in that spot. Like, you know, everybody ain't wrongfully incarcerated, but the point is they're human beings. And if they choose to do the right things, they can grow and they can develop. And I always admired that about him over the years, that he didn't turn bitter and hard. I mean, he just kept really wanting to learn and be a better person. And, you know, he and I would go on these debates over all kind of stuff, right? And I saw him shaping his values and all kind of stuff, you know. And so as he got out and is re-entering society, and Quincy and I started talking, one of the things I noticed probably a year or two ago is I started to meet maybe some of his other friends, because we were doing various things, trying to write to get disciplinary days back. And I got connected with some of his friends when I was sending him pictures of him graduating and stuff like that. And so what I really realized was, man, there are a ton of very talented people that are incarcerated. Like, I mean, like people skills, critical thinking skills, just natural ability to solve problems. And so as an individual business owner that's always looking for talent, I was like, you know, there's a tremendous amount. Maybe they made a mistake. Okay, like you made one too, you just didn't get caught, right? They got talent, they got value, they got use. And so that's also what led me to want to try to carve a pathway where possible for people to look at a couple of things different. So that's really why I'm passionate about, you know, this population and about the different things that people have to do in order to be able to re-enter and do well. So that's the reason why you know, that came to me, Quincy. So
that's awesome, bro. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I want to start off, man, by giving a big shout out and salute, man. 34 years. What's your partner's name again, man?
His name is Sherrod McFarland.
Yeah, shout out to Sherrod. I mean, that's 3 decades, man. That is a long stretch, brother. That is a long stretch. And I know, and you know, those things, just briefly, man, you know, they can affect you one way or the other. You know, I mean, they can, you know, you can get out here and just be totally just, you know, kind of not just not able to, you know, kind of figure things out and just be, because again, what would that be? The early 90s? What are we talking about? I mean, that's what, the early 90s when he left. I mean, that's like, you know, a lot of things have changed, right? A lot of things have changed. And, or, you know, you can take that, which I've seen, you know, which is interesting. I interviewed a sister. She's in Atlanta. Her name is Karima Hanifa, and Karima did 26 years, and she came out and just smashed it. Like, she's just like, you cannot tell her, you know, that something can't be done, because she's doing it all. She's traveling. She got married. You know, she's teaching at the college she was, you know, learning at while she was incarcerated. And so, you know, and so again, man, Sherrod, man, I know it sounds like you're going to be the type of individual, man, who's going to take this and run with it, man, and run hard and fast, man. So again, big salute to you. So yeah, appreciate you sharing that again, Leonard. But let's jump into, you know, what we kind of came here today. Tell us a little bit more about, you know, kind of, the opportunity that you have, how it relates to our audience, and for those who might be looking for, different things for them to get involved in, different ways for them to, have a career, make money, who are formerly incarcerated. Talk to us about that, please, sir.
Sure. And so real simple, man. I'm in the financial services industry, and that industry is really made up of three major areas. So that you got the insurance business, you've got the investment business, which the stock market and the investment market, which is in the news nowadays because of our administration and all the changes. And then you have the mortgage industry. People have to, if you are a gainfully employed type person in society, you got something that needs insuring, right? Car, house. You need to insure the income you got coming in case something happens to you, to leave behind for the people that are behind. If you are the investment industry, if you don't want to work forever, ever, then saving and putting up some money, is important. So people are putting up money for their kids' colleges and for retirement. That's an industry that's never going anywhere because it's money. And then mortgage industry, look, people are either wanting to buy a house one day, right? Or they're refinancing properties, or they're buying a mortgage on a property that they're going to fix up and flip. Either way, people are borrowing money. So those are three industries that aren't going anywhere. And I think that a couple things, I don't think we are exposed as a people, middle income people in particular, definitely people of color, brown and black people. We're not exposed to what a career like that sounds like, something technical, something hard,
right.
Something you got to go to like 27 years of college for, And right. The truth of the matter is that in most states, I would probably say all, with the exception of Canada as a country, you a high school diploma or GED and take a test that we pretty much train people for, and you can have a license in those industries as long as you are sponsored by a company that's willing to do that, right? And so we found some ways to be able to do that in many cases. And so I like to talk about it, and Quincy, you and I have talked about it. Look, it's a professional trade. I mean, like, we know about truck driving, and we know about solar, right? We know about, I grew up in Detroit, so we know about, electrician and plumbing. We know about, those are trades, legitimate trades, right?
Yes.
That you can go and get some kind of, but what about some professional trades that actually you can come in and within a 90 to 120 day period of time be fully licensed in those industries. And then let's say 6 months down the road, now you really know everything you need to know to be able to make a living and make a really good living, a six or multiple six-figure income doing it based on the knowledge that you get, because most of it is people knowledge.
Right.
It's about learning how to take a body of information and show people, well, look, they want to be shown, right? Mm-hmm. And show people the things that are options that are there for them. And I always tell people, oftentimes when I'm having this kind of discussion, the only calculator I have is on my iPhone. I'm like, this isn't like you must have to have one of those scientific, no. And this is financial education, not finance, right? It's financial education. And so there are some provisions that can be made to allow people the ability to be able to get the licenses. And the good thing about the licenses is it's like a license for anything else, Quincy. Basically,
real estate, CDL,
real estate,
barber's license, cosmetology. I mean, these are licenses that in the same way you think of anything else. I mean, you gotta, and it establishes you as someone who is, capable, or, at least, you have the ability to work in this field. And so once you have it, I mean, sky's the limit in a lot of different ways. So man, I appreciate you sharing that. And before I get into my other questions, G, you got anything you want to jump in on?
Man, listen, man, I'm soaking it up, man. I'm a sponge, man. So
okay,
man, pop your pop your stuff, man, because I'm always looking for information, man. I tell people all the time, I am not a truck driver. I'm a professional that just so happen to know how to drive trucks.
That's right.
I will quit driving trucks in the next 5 minutes and do something else. I promise you I will. So yeah, I'm just soaking it in, man. So
no doubt, no doubt. In the same lane with that. So let's, kind of jump into that, because we did have some conversations offline, but so, in terms of the felony itself, I mean, can anyone have a felony and get these licensing, or are there some kind of like, certain types of felonies or certain types of crimes they won't look at?
Sure. It's going to be like, again, these licenses are state by state. So some states are more felon friendly than others, right? And so the state determines whether or not, but oftentimes what I found is that it's not the states, even still, I know some are more stringent than others, but the states, as long as you can meet the class, do the little 20 hours in most states classroom and pass the test, they're okay allowing you to work there as long as you can find the companies that are willing to take the risk, the chance. And I say the chance because we're in a very litigious society.
Yeah. And
so the chance that they're taking is that if that person does, it doesn't matter. If I do anything that that's crazy to somebody, the company's liable because they're supposed to somehow supervise me or have good judgment about who they're choosing. But of course, there is this narrative that you want to look at somebody's past and you want to try to predict what's going forward. And quite frankly, what I'm seeing now is many of these companies are recognizing that it's harder to get labor now.
Yeah.
And they're starting to loosen up.
Gotcha.
That's just the bottom line. And so it's state by state, it's case by case, right? How long has a person been out? How long were they incarcerated? What did they do? What have they done since then? Have they had a clean slate, right? Or is this somebody that just habitually continues to offend? So those are the things that I'm sure they look at. Although I'm not the gatekeeper of that. Quite frankly, I'm trying to cut a hole in that fence and see how many brothers and sisters we can run through it. That's and I don't know if you remember, Quincy, where I got that from, but at our graduation speaker said you need to cut a hole in the fence and see how many people you can bring.
Yeah. That is absolutely correct. And again, thank you for sharing that. And I will say, with the CDL, many of our audience are, a lot of people who watch our shows are, are CDL holders. And so that sounds very familiar. Just because it's a felon friendly industry doesn't mean that anyone is able to get, say a hazmat or a TWIC card. It just depends. I've heard people say, if you got a felony, a felony in your jacket, man, you're not going to be able to get a hazmat. That's not true. I have one, so there are some myths. And again, just because you have your hazmat and you have your tanker and you got years of experience driving, some companies won't hire you because you have a felony, although you have all the the licensing to say and experience, to say that you can do the job. But, so it varies. So that sounds very similar to, things that people, we kind of already know about. But so, take your shots, take your shots. Don't let just anything. Yeah. And
because
so
I wanted to add to that, like your president is a felon,
right?
That so it's like, a lot of times, and really every job I done had, I'm always going in there and I'm getting awards. So a lot of times, some of these felons that done been behind the wall, some of them, they're gonna come out and listen. I'm so happy to be out here. I was in there working for free for the little stuff that I used to be able to get as a result of working while I was in there. Why wouldn't I go all in? Whether I like the job or not, I'm gonna give my all. And see, that's the best thing that you could do is probably hire a hungry felon that has changed his life and giving you everything.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He giving you everything on the job. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, again,
And we see that. We've seen that. I'm
brother.
sure. Yeah, G, you've seen that personally. You know, I mean, there are people that you did time with and that you knew even before you left out that this is the type of dude, man. Any opportunity that he's not going to do anything to jeopardize himself, you know, to be put in that back in that situation. And then two, you know, based on his character, work ethic, what, you know, yada yada yada, from what you've seen inside, that as soon as this guy gets released, I mean, he's gonna crush whatever is put in front of him. So thank you, Leonard, again, for, you know, kind of, you know, as someone, like you said, you haven't done time, you've done time with someone very close to you.
Doing time as
well. But, you know, to have that type of perspective. So and again, I know we had kind of some things we were going to talk about, but I just kind of want to go a little deeper. And as far as the licenses, so we're clear and everybody who's watching is clear. What is, you know, and we'll put those down in, you know, the description as well. What are the actual licenses that you talk about?
So for a state, you need a state to do insurance, you need a state insurance license, right?
Okay.
The licenses that we offer are a life insurance license. So for people being able to make sure that if something happens, there's money left behind for those that need to be taken care of, right? I mean, nobody wants to think about that, but the minute somebody die, folks are trying to figure out, well, you know, what we're going to do. Well, you know, people put life insurance in place because of that. The next license is the investment license. To be able to offer somebody a mutual fund or stock portfolio, you got to have a investment license. So in now today's world, there's a SIE exam, there's a Series 6 exam. Those are two exams that exist. Some states you have to do a Series 63, and so those licenses get a person where they're actually investment licensed and have the ability to do that. And then you have the mortgage license, like a mortgage originators, like mortgage loan originator is the person that would take the application. Somebody wants to buy a house, they're not driving around showing houses. They're just taking the application down based on the property these people found, and they're submitting it on over to the mortgage company. And they're the liaison between the lender and the buyer. And there's a license in most states that require you to have that certification. It's like a little test you take, you send in some stuff, and then they give you a license to do that. And those licenses, to the point you made earlier, look, once you got them, you know, you're not beholden to any one company. If you don't like the setup over here, you got the license now. That's a license that that you have that belongs to you. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Sounds good. Now, and you know, again, for all those who've been staying locked in, you know, there's a couple of extra benefits, and I encourage you to keep staying tuned to this, because Leonard does have some scholarship opportunities for you to not only be able to, you know, get the training that you will need to take the test, but he also has scholarship opportunities for you to actually, you know, for the exam costs that it would cost you with the state to take those. So, but let's just kind of go into the costs themselves: the insurance license, the investment license, and then the I'm losing the last, the mortgage license. Generally, how much does it cost to you know, the prep classes, and then how much would it cost normally to take those exams? We'll just call it in the state of Georgia.
Yeah. So basically, it's about $1,500 to $2,000 to go through that licensing process, which is exactly why a person doesn't do that just off a whim, right? Yeah. I mean, the other thing about that is they want you you got to have a company sponsoring you to go through that process in certain instances. So $1,500 to $2,000 on average. And I've got some money set up to pay for that. To the point that you made earlier, I know that was, you know, was part of what you talked about, you know, through a scholarship program to pay. I mean, I'm talking about pay upfront, in full, the whole shot. And that is and that is one at a time, of course. Now I've had people come in. We probably I don't know, 80% of the people that we come across are working somewhere else, and they want to try to find a transition.
Gotcha.
And we get them in on a part-time basis. We get them through licensing. We teach them what to do. There's also a paid training program where if they cooperate, go through and go on some practice sessions and stuff like that, they gain points, which is dollars. And when they pass the exam, there's a check waiting on them. You know,
really?
Okay. Oh yeah, two of the most recent people that I took through this training program, young lady, she actually manages like a LA fitness gym. So her training bonus was $800, man, and that was like 30, call it 40 days later. And this other gentleman works in sales. He does pharmaceutical sales, and his check was $1,000, and that was within about a 4-week period of time, 4 to 6 week period of time. Where on top of getting the licenses paid for, they got paid for also going through the training. So I mean, that's what's on the table, and what's really required of people, because I don't want anybody to feel like it's a bait and switch or something, is look, it's a small cost for a background check. It's like less than $100, but they want you to put that in there. We got to get it down on paper, what the charges were, what's the situation. We got to write some letters, right? And then, they got someone, in my position that, will you vouch for this person and give them a shot? Yeah. And again, I'm trying to kick the door open and put some brothers on. Number one, because I just think it's crazy. Like you even asked a question about what I did in the past, and that's crazy. But number two, I think there's talent there also. So I'm not just doing it on total altruism. I think that in our community, there are a bunch of very, very, very talented people that are being held back by this BS. So that's my my true feelings on that. But yeah, they gotta be able to get onto we got a technology platform that comes on. They gotta do a subscription for $25 a month to get online and do the studying. Okay, so this $1,500 in money that we're providing people to be able to get their license, we want to see that they got something in it. Yeah, like if we gonna throw up $1,500 and you ain't got nothing to lose, I mean, people treat it like that. So they need to have a little something, you know what I'm saying, and a background check fee and a $25 to get for the online for a month or two until you get through it. That's not really asking a lot, in my opinion. So that's how the scholarship program works. The training program to get you a bonus afterwards. That's the deal for it.
All right, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you breaking that down. And G, you got anything on that one, or you good?
It was something I was gonna ask you, but go ahead, because I'll think of it in a second.
Okay, so that, I mean, that covers a lot, man, and I think that's again, really good. And I'm glad you shared those stories of some of the people that you've already worked with, they've gone through the training, and they were able, not just through going through the training, not just get the license and get the training, and essentially mostly paid for. There are some costs. Again, nobody should be foreign to that, because there's always some cost to, in most cases, to getting education and licensing. So that's not strange or unusual. But what does it look like from that point on? And give us some actual results and studies, or just case study, or just example stories that of people you work with have known. They, like you said, they were stuck in one place. They got with you, got the training, got the skills, got the licensing, and then moved on. Tell us about that, and what can people expect?
Yeah, very, very good. I think obviously the large majority of the people that come our way, aren't previously incarcerated, right? I mean, that's just the reality, right? But I think what I like about this population that you guys have this for is, man, look, you gotta have some hustle, man. Like, I'm from Detroit, we breed hustle in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, for somebody that's entitled, that just want an easy job as a security guard, sitting behind the thing, doing nothing, sleeping on the job, you know what I'm saying, and watching TV. No, you gotta have some hustle. I just find that, to your point earlier, people want to come out, and if they're trying to change their life, they're gonna give you more.
Yeah,
they're gonna give you more than an entitled person who really doesn't want to work, right? And so what I like is I believe we got people with, like, I hate to say this, man, I know I'm just gonna be on YouTube, whatever, but like sometime in our society, man, people done got soft.
Yeah.
Like in terms of understanding how to hustle and how to go get something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man, say it, brother, say it. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, they in kind of ways a lot soft. They don't want to put in the work. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I believe that we got a whole population of people that we're trying to ignore that, if given the opportunity, would step up.
Yeah,
that's my personal belief. I ain't saying all of them, but there's some folk. Look, I'm reading a book right now called Relentless by Tim Grover. He's a guy who trained Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, several others. And he said, this chapter this morning was on the dark side. That was, the chapter we're talking about. And he said, there's no difference between a successful businessman, crime boss, and a highly skilled athlete. Okay. He said all of them have that the same traits, the dark side, the same thing in them. Okay. And so I know that's not what you asked me, so I'll hurry up and ask you a question, but that's what I see. Right. And I believe we can find with brothers and sisters that are here. Now, most of our folk, are coming out. I'll give you one story that's pretty impressive. I was at a restaurant one day a few years ago, and it was a bunch of us, all guys who own franchises and financial services, and we were having a dinner because we were going to a conference. And the waitress, young, I think she was 22 at the time, and she was really good though, had presence and great attitude. And so I asked her, was she open to an opportunity for me to show her how she could make some real money? I mean, it's okay, nothing wrong with the waitressing, but you ain't getting ready to get your own place, your own car, and get financially set waiting tables. Not normally. So I was like, can I give you an opportunity? So she came in, 22, hadn't finished college at all. And now as she sits, now she's fully licensed in our industry, got licensed in about 120 days, 90 to 120 days, fully licensed, insurance, investments, the whole shot. Now she runs her own branch office outside of mine, right? On the other side of Atlanta, over by the Braves Stadium, if you're a baseball fan. Right. And now she has grown into that role. And so now she's a single Black female in Atlanta making $6,000 to $8,000 a month on her, and she was waiting tables, right? I mean, she didn't have no experience with no mutual. She didn't know what no mutual fund was. Okay. When she got here, right? You know what I'm saying? She didn't know about insurance and what's the difference between whole life and term and universal. She knew none of that stuff. Right. And she came into our program. She continued to wait tables. And then she went on over and worked at this factory for a little while. And because that gave her better hours than waiting tables, because she wanted to be available after people got off of work to be able to meet with them, because that's a lot of times what we do. Now we're just meeting on a computer like this, right? But before we were going to see people. And so the point just is, that's an example of somebody who knew nothing about nothing. She is from Mississippi, so she didn't know anybody really in Atlanta other than her mom and daddy. Okay. But she's been able and managed to be able to build herself a practice that, and she's completely independent from me. I'm her coach. So, she calls me, coach, how about this? What do you think? But she's been able to learn this pretty quickly, and she's completely independent. And the sky is the limit now, because she's up to be able to take on a franchise contract, which will double her pay. Right. And so she's got a satellite office now, but she's very close. She's got all the licenses. She's very close to being able to meet all the production requirements and other requirements to be able to now have her own deal, and which will double her pay. So that's just one example. I got many. I can show you.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
white
no doubt.
collar,
That's
blue
great.
collar.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I can show it to you all over the place, but that's
Right.
one I work with her personally.
Got you.
And helped her, and you know, she's not, you know, not anything special other than just her heart to want to change her life.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to you, man. Big shout out to your mentee, and in the game, whoever she is, and she's watching this video. Congratulations to you and your success. That's very important, and again, this is information. The term for now kind of, we hear is, financial literacy and how important that is. And a lot of us didn't grow up with it in our households. And so, to not only become financially literate in another type of dimension, you able to not, to gain that information, apply it yourself. So you win in that way. And then you also win in being able to sell the products and services along with it, to make a living independently. Yeah. So it's a win-win-win in a lot of different situations. So yeah, brother, man, that's what's up, man. So, we're going to kind of, wrap things up. And so for those, that are interested in looking at the opportunity, tell us a couple quick things. What types of people are you looking for? Because it sounds like you said you're looking for hustlers, not, in terms of hustling people out of their money, but just people who are grinders, they're willing to work hard. I would imagine, they got high ethical standards. You're not looking for people trying to, scam and do, things again, that are going to, send you back to that joint. So, but what other things that you're looking for the type of individual, and how do people reach you if they're interested in your scholarship opportunity?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think we're looking for people with a PhD, poor, hungry, and determined. Okay, poor, hungry, and determined. I mean, I can show you people that were professional, white collar educated people who've come in and become successful. I have experiences, like I told you about the young lady that was waiting tables. I can show you people that worked in government. And so really it's about an attitude more so than a profile of education. I will tell you, look, I personally like, and I'm doing a couple of things to try to attract some brothers also to this field. I gotta tell you though, when it comes to the financial services industry, there is such a huge demand for women.
Okay.
Now, I want some brothers to get put on too, because I'm a brother. But there is, it's just more and more women are needed, because there are more and more women that are making decisions in households regarding money. And so y'all all know, fellas, like, I mean, we can say something, but if a female say it, she gonna believe it 10 times more because she heard it come out of female mouth. And so that's just something that's real as it relates to our industry. But yeah, I mean, black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, it don't matter regardless of race. It doesn't matter regardless of age. It doesn't matter regardless of education level. It's really the attitude. Because look, it's a different paradigm. So you're talking about someone that's willing to go through, they got to study for a class. Look, the way things work today, hey, look, you can't avoid technology. Right. The technology aspect of what we do today is important. So if it's somebody that's willing to pop a laptop up and be working from a laptop, maybe some people say, I want to be outside. Well, this ain't probably for you, right? Because this is not outside, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be outside. I want to work with my hands. I mean, then that's fine. But for somebody that has the ability to, it's the telephone, right? And it's the laptop. And it's and that kind of thing. So that's just what a person has to be willing to submit themselves to, even if they don't have all of the skills right now to do that. They have to be willing and understand that. And I can tell you now, from somebody who started this business 20 some odd years ago, and I used to drive around Atlanta, and I would go to people's homes and sit down at their kitchen tables, and we do all this stuff and talk about their insurance and investments. What I can tell you now is they don't even want you coming to their house. It's a better meeting to go sit down with someone and actually but they don't want you coming. Right. People have gotten so used to being able to meet and do a Zoom or a Teams or Streamyard or something like that. It's not necessary. They don't have to clean up. They can throw a background on and they can throw some clothes up top and they can meet with you and go do something else afterwards, you know. And so you got to be this business, even though, look, on occasion I have people come by our office, you know, and we have offices all over the country, but the truth of the matter is that, look, they ain't trying to come. They're trying to get on Zoom or StreamYard or to Teams or something where they can do stuff digitally. So you got to be a kind of person that is willing to adapt to that environment, because that's very different even than I started with when I first started. So you have to be adaptable in that way. And other than that, that's it, man.
That's what's courage. Up. All right, I'm still stuck on a PhD, man. That's a good one, brother. Yeah, Paul Hunger. You gotta have a PhD. I was like, where he's going with that one? So yeah, Leonard, again, man, big shout out, man. Much appreciation for you to sharing this information. It's vital information. It's not a lot of not information that you normally hear, and you know. And I don't know if I can speak for G on this one, but he don't move like, you know, the average character move. I don't move like the average character move out here as well. And so, you know, to see, you know, hear and see something like this opportunity, man, that's just totally different than what you normally hear, man. That's always got a place, you know, on this platform and on our platforms and on this show. And so, yeah, man. So just tell us, everybody, how would they reach out to you? I know we're going to have links down in the description, but just give a quick shout out for that information.
Just look, we'll just call me. Just call me. I'll give my number is 470-210-8962. All right. So I'll repeat that: 470-210-8962. You can call or text. I don't have any gatekeepers at that number. That'll get you directly to me, and then we're gonna just sit down and talk about it and figure out a pathway to be able to help you get involved if that's what you're interested in. And there are many ways to do that. So again, 470-210-8962, and also there'll be a link in the comment section that they'll put up that you can click and go straight to me that way as well. So that's how they can get in touch with me, brother.
That's what's up, man. Word is born, man. Word is born. And again, much love, much appreciation to you, man. G, you got any closing words? Or you are we stand on what we doing?
Yeah, I think everybody should check you out. I mean, we living in a time where you can't really be stuck to one thing. You got to know how to do a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if this is another avenue, you know, we as Black people, we want to sit around and complain about our situation when we're not doing anything to better the situation. So this is yet another avenue on the platform to be able to say, hey, let me take a look at this and try this and see if this is good for me. That's all you got to do. That's all he's asking you to do, is take a look at it. If it's for you, then y'all just go from there. If not, find something else, but don't panic. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, because what's going on in society is telling you can't be stuck to one thing. So diversify what you do, you know. So that's I appreciate this brother for sharing that information.
No doubt, no doubt.
Check out the website.
Thank you too, G. Thank you for having me on here and allowing me to be on your show. I don't take that lightly, and I really appreciate that. And you in Atlanta, man, so we got to figure out some kind of way how to connect, you know, outside of just YouTube.
For sure.
But you here, man, when you're not on the road or whatever, man, you know, pull up. You know what I'm saying? We got to get together, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. That guy right there, Nate, is probably gonna want to have you on this podcast. So that's my oldest brother, and he got a podcast. And he's probably gonna want to be able to get you on there so you can share. It's another platform for you to be able to share your information.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm down, man. I'm totally down with that. and just have him contact me. I gave him my stuff.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. I'll be responsible for making that happen for sure. Yeah.
And Quincy, thank you also for reaching out, allowing me to be also connected in your platform and to share the information and for your friendship and everything else too, brothers. I appreciate you guys.
All right, you take care, brother. Be easy, man. All right, be well. Yeah.
All right, take care now.
All right, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna check his website out when I get a chance. When I get a chance, I'm gonna check that website out. Yeah, man. So please like, comment, and subscribe. For the most part, we trying to get positive information out to the people, not only for convicted felons, but for anybody that needs it. You never know who needs to hear what. He gave a story of a female that was just a waitress, and he introduced her to something. She felt like it was good. She went to the school and got her license, and now she's doing something else. And now waitressing can be a second job, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, we as black people got to step up, man. We got to step our game up, man. Get multiple streams of income. Warren Buffett been giving us the game for years.
Yeah. No doubt. And again, man, the race is steadily improving in a lot of different ways. You got content creators out here, a lot of them coming out the A, who are talking about, they're talking about options trading. They're talking about, investments that, been on real estate, that's been a thing, which for a lot of people, was something, they had no knowledge of. It really didn't understand how to buy, fix, and sell houses, or, how to buy commercial, properties, multi-unit apartment complexes. Yeah. Are these things hard things? Yes, in a lot of cases, particularly if you had no background in it, you didn't grow up around it, your family members just wasn't in that space. But a lot of things, a lot of things in life are hard. There's, and I think that was a great point that he brought up. That people are caught up in trying to find the easy route, the soft route, the thing doesn't require you to sacrifice and give up a whole lot of shit in order to make it happen. And that doesn't cut it, man. That's not what. Because anything that you see that someone has built that's real, that is solid, this shit was hard. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get out that mindset and mentality that, oh, it's hard. I can't, I'm not trying to do that, man. Let me just do some easy stuff. Like, I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, man. So that's an old conversation, man. The things that are going to, that are going to benefit you the most are going to cost you the most. You got to subtract in order to add sometimes, and that's subtracting the bullshit and the distractions and all the other stuff out of your life if you want to see real results and real additions in your life in other ways. So that's my
Or option B. Sit around and complain. Blame somebody else. Blame the government. Blame the white man. Blame anybody you want to blame. Place all of the blame on anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
You are in control of your situation. You got the same 24 hours a day as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Is you gonna be like one of the NBA players that's sitting 15 on the bench, or you gonna be in the gym shooting jumpers like Kobe used to do? Kobe used to shoot by 8,000 jumpers a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the difference. But both players got the same 24 hours a day.
That's right.
It's all about what you gonna do with yours.
What you gonna do with yours?
So
sure. Yeah.
All
right, man. That's another episode, man, in the books. Unless you got something you ready to jump on in.
Yeah. Nah, that's it, man. Like I will prefer, as opposed to talking about these bums in the news and all these crash outs and all these young YNs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the new term now, YNs.
YNs.
All this dumb stuff that they doing. I would rather bring information to the people and highlight Black excellence. You know,
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Because we got to change the trend in the culture, man. So you know, but we will talk about you YNs when y'all do something stupid. But the main goal is to keep other YNs from doing the crashing out that you doing. So that's why we do it. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Trying to get out the truck.
Yeah, no
keep
doubt.
Sharing.
No
like,
doubt.
comment, subscribing.
Absolutely.
And keep sharing. What you got? That's it for you?
Oh man, that's it for me, man. I got some things developing that, kind of like you, man. I'm holding close right now to I actually, ink is on paper, or in your case, I know you got some other things you've been, sharing with me that you ready to drop to, man. And until yeah. So everybody just stay tuned, man. Stay locked in. Stay, this is going to be an interesting journey that we're going to kind of show you, in terms of how you get out, stay out, make moves, make plays. Don't think of yourself, just as whatever your job description or job title, has labeled you as. Think of you as someone who's always constantly striving to better that hand, in life, in business, in your relationships, and your, with people, your relationship with God. Always look to improve that hand. And so again, man, there's just some things that we're, both G and I are working on in different ways that, we're going to, come to you guys and share with you as, these are the next moves that are being made in this journey. So that's all I got, brother.
Okay, cool. And people, one more thing, last thing. If you fall down, get back up. It's okay. Don't give up. You got to get up, not give up.
XconMedia.